What's the good word, Josh? It's your boy DKB here. So I came across an article from the Huddle. They were predicting, or at least providing some analysis for their 2023 offensive line rankings, not to finish the season, but kind of heading in and what happened in 2022 versus some of the additions to get prepped for this season and what that may result in, right? So to my surprise, we have the New York Jets as the 8th worst NFL offensive line heading into 2023. And we'll dive into the analysis, right? I kind of want to see what they're saying here, but they at least went by consistent metrics for every team. So maybe I shouldn't necessarily be so shocked at the score, at the ranking per se, because there's been a lot of injuries. You take a look at what we did last year. Elijah Vera Tucker was definitely the best offensive lineman that we had all season prior to him going down. And then we know we had to go 7-8 deep at the tackle position. Connor McGovern, always solid, but can swing towards being unspectacular for sure. So let's talk about some of the ratings that they went by, right? They scored yards per carry, yards before contact, negative runs, percentage of negative runs, sacks allowed, the sack rate, and then the percent of pass plays that resulted in a hit, a hurry, or a sack. And so otherwise that would be known as pressures, right? So let's talk about where the Jets ranked at each of these spots. Yards per carry, we were 4.2, which was good for 23rd, so still essentially the bottom third. Yards before contact, a 2.8. That put us in the top 10, actually. We were ranked number 9 there. I was actually a little bit shocked at this because there's so many plays out there where it looked like we couldn't even get any kind of push at the line of scrimmage. And Michael Carter wasn't able to use the same elusive ability. I'm sure a lot of that is skewed by the big plays that Breece Hall had prior to him going down as well. So we'll kind of, I'll take it for what it is, right? Top 10 is still great. For perspective's sake, two teams had a 3.2, which would have been number 1 and number 2 in the NFL. So it's not a huge, fall off per se in this category. Negative runs, we had 46, which ranked us 26. Basically, 14% of our rushing attempts resulted in a negative play, which made us 29th. We allowed 42 sacks, 20th in the NFL. A 6% sack rate, which made us 14th, so we're kind of hitting that average territory here. And then the pressure rate, or the percent of passes that resulted in a hit, hurry, or sack, 26%, which ranked us good for 22nd. So again, not a whole lot of things that seem surprising here. The yards before contact one, probably the biggest, but the difference between the poorest NFL offense in that regard and the best, you're talking about less than a yard effectively, right? So as they say, every inch matters for a reason. But let's dive into the analysis because I really want to see why we are ranked so low according to the rest of the NFL. And they say the Jets suffered through bottom 5 pass block metrics in 2021, but then managed to rise to average last year despite the quandary at quarterback. That should be further improved this year with the heady play of Aaron Rodgers. The run blocking stats dropped from mostly average to lower marks in most metrics, but opponents could key on the run, and they never got a full season out of Breece Hall. The upgrades in guard last year, between 2021 first-round pick Elijah Vera Tucker and coughing up cash for left guard Laken Tomlinson, helped though injuries impacted their play. The Jets re-signed center Connor McGovern and start much the same line from last year. The play of Aaron Rodgers and the health of Breece Hall will impact the offense, but this unit can regain an average status if they remain healthy. So they're saying a lot without really saying anything, in my opinion, right? So for one, we have the Aaron Rodgers factor, the most efficient quarterback in the NFL. We know about the touchdown to interception ratios. We know about how quick he's able to go out there and get the ball out of his hands. All of that should be a huge plus for this offensive line. Let's, keep it 100% here. We've been playing with a lot of rookies, or even in cases where we brought in veterans, but we didn't have the weaponry to help support them to get the ball out fast, right? This is the first time where we're really having an offense that has weapons in the passing game. You have weapons in the running game. You finally have a quarterback in play. And so the offensive line, while it's not A+, is definitely serviceable. And I would still argue we're an above average unit if we remain healthy. So that would be the first factor. Outside of all the metrics talk, Breece Hall being out, that is going to be a factor, whether he comes back in week 1 or not. I would wait until the first 4 or 5 games to really determine what version of Breece Hall that we're getting. 18 weeks is a very long season. Still plenty of time, right? If he gets going later in the season as opposed to early on, I won't be mad at that either if we're in the playoff picture, right? He's gearing up and returning to form in prime time the way I view it. So really you have a question mark about what a combination of Israel Bandikonda, Bam Knight, and potentially Michael Carter can do if we want to go for deep. And then in terms of the offensive line, again, I don't think anybody's questioning per se the talent that Mekhi Becton brings his freshman year or his rookie season. Definitely a little bit overhyped, right? Still allowed 6 or 8 sacks, I think it was, his rookie year. Got beat up by some guys he shouldn't, but you still seen him face the Nick Bosas of the world, I think the Joey Bosas anyways, and he had success. He was stonewalling guys that we wanted to bring on this season as part of our defensive line rotation, and so we're seeing him return to the best form we've ever seen him in, and this even dates back to college where we're dealing with weight issues and things like that as well. Laken Tomlinson can only improve, right? The show that we got last year from a guy that we're paying, $14+ million to, assuming that we get a healthy Dwayne Brown and Mekhi Becton to help him out, I think that in and of itself, not having a million left tackles rotate out, that should help him out. But then also he's not going to be put as much of a situation where he'll have to be out there on an island, right? I think this offensive line with Keith Carter coaching them up, he'll be able to minimize a lot of those issues that we've seen creep up in our situation, where, to be honest, Laken Tomlinson, he was just getting flat out beat. It's not like he had a technical issue or anything like that. You were seeing guys just swat him away essentially with one arm and be able to get by him. You're adding in, and I still expect that our center, Joe Tippmann, is going to be able to win this competition. So you get another very athletic piece in front of him that's going to be physically imposing out there and should help with some push on the offensive line. Elijah Vera Tucker, as long as he doesn't even need to be a superstar at this point. If he gets anything close to the form that we were seeing before, we're solid. And then, of course, the right tackle situation, who knows what that looks like. I highly doubt we move Dwayne Brown to right tackle, even if he loses the competition. So you're talking about either Mekhi Becton being on that side. You're talking about Max Mitchell being there, or maybe a guy like Yanni Kajus, something like that. But I don't know. To me, I think at the very least we're talking about an average offensive line, right? Unless we see Laken Tomlinson-like performances from a lot of people across the offensive line, we should be set. But let me know what your guys' thoughts are. I'm going to put the link to this particular article in the description as well, so you guys can check it out for yourselves. But where do you have us at? I would say we're definitely within that top 13 range. If things everything doesn't even have to click perfect, but again, solid performances. I think we're a top 13 line in the NFL. So let me know your thoughts, and I'll catch you guys again. Peace.